Game with StebMcDreb.
Oh, hi everybody. I'm Steb. This is Codename Kids Next Door Operation Video Game, which I cannot for the life of me believe I am running at a GDQ. Oh, it's 4 in the morning. I'm not ready to process this information. So yeah, this is me. I'll be running the game. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me for about the next 2 hours. But you've also got, thankfully, my co-commentator and good friend kojlax, who you may have seen earlier this week running Portal.
Not kojlax. I don't know why that's on stream.
Oh.
Or we'll get someone to fix that.
JLAX. Oh well, not important. Hi, I'm Kojlax. I've watched exactly one episode of this show like 30 minutes ago. That's my knowledge.
Don't worry, I've watched most of the show. I can fill you in on the lore.
The kids.
There's a surprising amount of lore. Anyway, so this is the any percent category. We're just gonna play the game in whatever order possible. Time is gonna start once the loading screen ends and we go into the level. I'll tell you when that is. But I'm just gonna get into it and we're gonna start the game. No time like the present. So yeah, I'm just gonna skip through a couple of cutscenes. And we're here at a loading screen for the first level Operation Tutorial. Basically, in this level, the Toiletnator, who is a toilet-themed supervillain, because that's the writing we're dealing with, has taken over the tree house, and number one has to stop him, but he's got like a virtual reality training headset on. So he thinks this is a training mission. The joke being that the Toiletnator is like a non-threatening villain. Time starts now. So yeah, this is Codename Kids Next Door on the PS2. This is more or less going to be just a basic tutorial to start out with, introducing you to the game and with like a bit of a boss fight and such. For the most part, this first level is just going to be me trying to mash through text boxes while doing what the game asks me to. The Toiletnator is going to try and be threatening. I did not want to dodge jump quite where I did. There we go. We do 2 charge shots to get through this section, and then the boss fight itself will begin. Yeah, I apologize for the long load times at the start of this game, by the way. I took damage there, wasn't quite able to iframe through that properly, and one of my super attacks did not go through, so that's going to be a bit of time lost already. Oh dear. Okay, now the boss fight actually starts. If we get the good RNG, he will walk down towards us, which it seems he is doing, which means we can meat shot him with these 3 shots from the, I don't remember what it's called, the mustard gun. It's a gun that shoots mustard, because that's the level of technology the kids next door are apparently operating on.
I mean, hey, if I had a gun that could shoot mustard, and it dealt damage, then, sure, I'm here for it.
Yeah, mustard is pretty damaging. That's the first level down. That's a 106 on the in-game time. And, so yeah, as I was saying, I apologize for the load times. They're going to get a lot worse as the levels are going to get a lot bigger. And, yeah, basically, the PS2 version of this has ridiculously bad load times. There is a GameCube version, which is way harder to get a hold of. I've tried emulating it, and it has way better load times. But a lot of the skips that we do later on, sadly, don't seem to work, or at least seem to be way more finicky. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. There's also an Xbox version, which I have no experience with because I don't have any way to play OG Xbox games. But for all I know, that could be the perfect version that's the best of both worlds. Who knows? I don't. Anyway, this is Operation Donutty. Basically, local food villain Grandma Stuffin has taken over the local donut shop, and number one has to go in and investigate the situation. This is more or less the general tone of episodes of the show. Here's where, right at the start of this level, we're going to see the main optimal movement where we can get it, which is doing like lock-on side jumps. If you've ever played Ocarina of Time, then that's more or less the movement we're doing. And it's also where we get introduced to the first skip and its skip name. This game has quite a lot of skip names. This is Kids Next Door Operation Wall. Wonky alignment lowers length. Basically, instead of doing this whole fighting tutorial, we're going to just kind of zoom on in there and skip that whole section.
So all of the names are going to adhere to the actual aesthetic of the original
Yeah,
TV
all the
show.
names adhere to the aesthetic of the show with the wacky acronyms. All the levels, all the level names are funny acronyms as well, but I don't remember what they mean because it gets shown in like an introductory cutscene, and I skip those cutscenes like all the time.
That was you just walked through a wall. Okay.
Yeah, I did. I just zoom, and we're through.
That was neat.
Yeah. And now, because we skipped that tutorial, fun little thing that's happening is it's going to say press square to fire for the rest of the level. I hope you like being told to press square to fire because you're in for about another 10 minutes of it. We're jumping on some lava donuts, by the way, to get across a giant oven and up to like a weird turbine room.
Those are pretty resilient donuts.
Yeah,
I'll give them that.
that they are. And now we have to get to the top of this room in order to open a door, which of course has to be introduced by sweeping camera shot. That's this game's main way of showing you where to go, is a giant epic camera shot going directly to the main objective. This part is annoying because you have to make basically blind jumps to try and get to these platforms. Like you saw there, I did not know where that platform was going to be. So I basically had no choice but to... Once I realized I couldn't make it, I basically had no choice but to reset and go for another jump. If you fall down here, it loses a lot of time. Like, I really thought that was going to be worse than it was because of the camera shenanigans. Okay, but we're making good progress here so far. This is reasonably fast, not having to miss that many jumps. I say right as I miss a jump. Incredible.
You mentioned earlier the like side hops that you do for optimal movement, but are there any other interesting movement techs that you're going to be doing? It's kind of very 3D platformy.
That's most of the movement, at least as far as number one is concerned. Basically, because you play as all 5 operatives of Sector V of the Kids Next Door, numbers 1 through 5. And number 1, your movement is largely, as far as optimal movement, is going to be pretty much restricted to those side hops, which is more or less the same for number 3 as well, who's the other like gun-wielding character. But thankfully, the melee characters, numbers 4 and 5, they have like jumping attacks, which are most of the time a lot faster and a lot less finicky than trying to find the right angles to get good strafe jumps without having to like side jump around enemies. 'Cause that's the main thing, is like because the lock-on range in this game is so generous, like you see here, we couldn't just go for like straight side hops. We had to lock on and try and jump around one of those enemies of living donut batter men and lunch ladies. That is a sentence. There's going to be a lot of sentences in this game. I hope you're ready for them.
As a fan of sentences, I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a noted fan of grammar and sentences. Oh, but don't get me started on...
Sentences are overrated. I'm not such a fan of language.
How dare you?
Hot takes coming. We should all communicate through animalesque hoots and grunts.
Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, 2015. Oh boy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm taking a lot of damage here just because these guys are kind of annoying. You try fighting your way through a horde of donut men and then get back to me. I'm just saying.
It's true. We don't have any room to judge, really.
Yeah. We're almost near the end of the level. This is like the last corridor before we go into the boss fight with Grandma Stuff'em, which does take like a little bit of time. I do not know how I managed to get through that without locking onto any of the enemies, which means I got to make a decent bit of movement there. And now we're going to go straight into the boss fight. We want to hit the trigger to spawn the boss as fast as possible because we basically need to wait a little bit on a timer before we're able to make the boss vulnerable. This is Grandma Stuff'em. We can't quite see the health bar because the game is still telling us to press square to fire, but basically we just wait by this button. And now,
Did you know you can press square to fire?
Really? I had no idea. You learn something new every day.
It's true.
So yeah, that donut just got juiced. And now number 1 is explaining that we can use the jelly from the donut to make the boss weaker. But first, we're going to bait the boss into staying still by giving it a giant donut that for some reason she tries to eat through her giant machine, which, by the way, I don't know if you heard number 1 say, but yes, it is called the Chunk Wagon, which is the best name for any vehicle in anything. Now we hit that button to drop the Chunk Wagon into a hole. We jump in the wrong direction, and now we press this button over here to... Oh, that was interesting. And now we basically strip the shields off the boss. And now we do a little bit of damage, then the shield comes back up, and then we do that 3 more times. Or, well, 2 more times, rather. We do it 3 times total. Yeah, basically we just mash square until the shield is back up, and now we wait for the donut to reappear, and we do it all over again.
By the way, we have a $5 donation from Elliot. It says, "Go Steb, go! You're one of my dearest friends, and I'm so proud of you for being a part of such a wonderful cause and doing something you love. Thank you to TQ for everything you folks do year-round. Lots of love from Boston."
Oh, thank you. That's my friend Elliot. They're a good friend of mine. Known them for years. Met them back on an old voice acting project. We were fan dubbing JoJo Steel Ball Run Part 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sadly didn't get off the ground that much, but finally, after like 3 years, it's starting to be brought back off the ground. Production is currently going on like chapter 3, I believe.
Nice.
It's been many years in the making, but it's finally happening.
JoJo's and Kids Next Door, 2 very similar cartoons.
Oh,
So much in
definitely.
common between the 2 of them.
Okay, now we just gotta adjust our positioning because there's a lot more donut golems, which are gonna be blocking some of our shots. We're gonna actually abandon the lock on there just to get out of the way a little bit. We're taking a bit more damage than we'd like to. Hopefully we can avoid that a little bit more. But thankfully, whenever the next donut spawns, all of the enemies despawn. There's another quality sentence of the day for you. Oh yeah, someone in the chat does bring up a good point. Benjamin Diskin, who voiced what is going on with my nose? Who voiced Joseph in the English dub of JoJo Part 2, is also the voice actor for number 1, and it's basically like, once you hear that it's like basically the same English accent, you like the 2 characters sound basically identical.
The next line is going to be, you know, someone needs to just take clips from JoJo and just dub over Kids Next Door, or the other way around.
Oh yeah, no. There's been a lot of that. I remember there was a video ages back of like someone just put a picture of number 1 over. By the way, I am scared of how much health I have, so I am going to... Okay, we managed to iframe through it. Whenever you use a charge shot, you get like iframes for basically the entire duration. That was a 8:26 in-game time. That's actually pretty good, all things considered.
Nice.
So now we're going to be moving into the next level, which is Operation Bugification, where we play as number 5. Basically, while everything was happening, another supervillain named the Common Cold, who just basically is a bogey supervillain, managed to snot up the treehouse, and now we've got to go clean it up.
Ooh.
This is one of the shorter levels, as well as the only level to feature 2 skips, the first of which is going to be coming up immediately to skip like a tutorial section, which I like to call Operation Yeet. Youngster expertly evades tutorial.
Yes.
And
Wow.
we call it Operation Yeet because, if I can get this right, we do a double jump attack, and I did not get it right. Okay, we actually have to restart the level now. It saves so much time that even with these ridiculous load times, it is faster to restart the level if you don't get it, because you only get 1 shot. Chad is saying that apparently the video is like way behind the audio.
Oh yeah, that's
It's way behind for us too.
yeah, it's
no.
kind of side effect of a restreaming. It just sort of happens. So.
I'm so sorry.
But we still got the basic idea of what's going on. So
okay.
Yeah, just like 15 seconds slow.
Okay, so sadly we are gonna have to wait again for that loading time to happen. I think I hit forward just a little bit too late. But basically what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to land on top of those giant pillars that come up, which lets you grab a ledge early and completely skip like basically like a maze like bullet dodging section and like a big platforming section, a lot of which have like cutscenes attached to them. Okay, so let's try it again. I really hope I don't mess this up again. If I do, I might just do it the normal way. Okay. Please. There we go.
Woo!
I immediately ruined it by missing the jump. Okay, we're just doing this the normal way. Sorry. At least I showed what it looks like when you get the yeet. Okay, I am kind of rusty at this section because normally I never do it. So hopefully it doesn't go too badly. Oh boy. But here at least I can show off some of the movement a little bit better. You can see number 5 gets like a burst of speed when she does like the jumping kick attack. Which is, I don't think it's quite as fast as getting optimal side flips because we do use them in a few places, but it's a lot easier to do than having to constantly reset your angles so that you're going in a straight line with the flips. Anyway, we're almost to the end of this segment. That turret managed to like lead his shots and hit us. So here we get like a little... So here we get like a wall jumping tutorial because number 5 can wall jump. Now we go over here, we hit this button, which brings a thing over here. You see like all of these like little panning shots and stuff? All of these would get skipped as well. And now there's a skip here that I really hope I'm able to do. This is like a skip that got skipped when we found Operation Yeet. I didn't even have a name for this one. And I just realized I wasn't actually supposed to hit that button. So now I can't go for that skip I was talking about, so we're just going to do it the way the game wants you to do it. Gonna jump over here. You might have noticed those little like 2x4 technology planks dotted around the level in this level and the last level. Those are upgrade pieces which you can use to upgrade your weapons or get new bits of technology. We don't need them in either of these 2 levels, but we are going to be picking them up in basically every single level after this one. Because for the most part, they're really good, just not in the 2 like introductory levels to the game. Here we're gonna try and duck in here. Okay, we took damage, which is bad. Ideally, you only want to take 1 damage boost through there, but if you take 2, it's fine. Just means we might have to death abuse coming up a little bit here. We're going to try and jump through these lasers. That was just giving us a little bit of a tutorial about how if we collect... Okay, I tried to be a little bit fast there, but a little bit too slow, and we bonked our head straight into a laser and died. Thankfully, the checkpoint is right here. We are going to have to watch that little thingy again. This run is off to a great start. I apologize sincerely for how sloppy this stage has been. Normally, this is one of the shorter stages in the run, but at this rate, it's not going to be that much shorter. Thankfully, this is where the other skip in the level happens, which is Operation Disco, door impeccably sidelined, causing omittance. And as soon as the camera pans over, here is the door that is going to be impeccably sidelined. Basically, normally in the section, you have to do a whole thing of ducking in and out through these disco lights, which are like a security system going on. But instead, we're just going to take advantage of a property that some walls and doors in this game have, where basically if we go over here, we're going to line ourselves up just right. And if I've got the angle right, I don't think I have. Oh god. No, it's a little bit too far. Is this? No. No. It's a very precise angle. I'm trying to go for like minute flicks with the stick. This is a lot easier to do. I normally practice on an emulator. Okay, there we go. I got it. Now if I hold the stick in a precise position, I messed it up. I let go of the stick too early. Now if I, hang on. Come on. Oh, it's because there's an enemy over there. We managed to aggro an enemy through the door. Okay, now. I just need to. I need to turn like a little bit more, but then I keep turning too far. I'm so sorry about this. Okay, I think this looks right. This normally isn't that hard. Okay, there we go. Found it again. Found it again. I think. Have I not? I thought I had it. What is going on with this, with my performance today? I'm not.
It's just the nature. Win some, lose some. It'll be. You got
Yeah.
You
Okay.
got this.
Is this it, please? I actually don't know what's going on.
It's never happened.
It's been patched.
Get some developer notes on Codename Kids Next Door from 2005.
First, we'd have to find a developer that would admit
it's incredibly
to working on
precise,
this.
but normally I have like a feel for it. There we go. There we go. Okay. Oh, I am so sorry. Normally I get that like first try. Oh, jeez,
You
this
totally
is like.
got a first try. This was first try. It was a very long first try, but it was first try.
Okay. We hit this checkpoint now, we get this health, and we're more or less at the end of the level. We just need to jump through these lasers, then we go up here and there's gonna be a few enemies to fight, and then we hit a switch that triggers the end of the level. Oh my god, I'm tensed up now because of that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared. I really hope that isn't gonna set the tone for the rest of this run.
Well, maybe this will help. We have a $15 donation from Venya. Says good luck on the
Oh.
run, Steb. Though I have to say, Portal looks a lot different than I remember.
oh gosh, we have fun. Venya's another friend of mine. Thank you very much.
Fancy gun skin.
Yeah, there's some interesting texture mods going on. Okay, now we're gonna hit the end of the level, and there we go. What was the time on that? 7:06. Good grief. Normally that level takes like 2.5 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay, and now I'm afraid the run isn't gonna get much faster from here because up next is Operation Snot Bomber, which is a shmup level.
Hey, this is like one of the small parts of the like quick skim of a long play I saw, I think.
Yeah, this game has 3 shmup levels. There's basically one here, one like towards the middle of the game, and then one like right at the very end.
That plane has got a nose, and that's pretty weird looking.
That's a really gross visual. I hate it.
That is the titular Snot Bomber. It's the Common Cold's like ship basically. And what we're gonna do here is there's gonna be a section where it's gonna we didn't quite get the charge in time, but basically it's gonna take our gun offline because it wants to teach us to use basically the smart bomb function, where if we use our shield to absorb enough enemy projectiles, we fire out a wave of chicken soup, which is obviously the best way to deal with cold and flu-based enemies.
Cancels it out.
Use the chicken soup explosion. So basically, whenever the green meter fills up, whenever we like absorb enough projectiles, we'll be able to do that. So we're basically just gonna, I think once we use 5 total, it lets us have our weapons back. So it should be probably the next one, but then I know that as soon as I've said the next one, it's not gonna be this one.
The Earth's looking a lot smaller and more cylindrical than I remember.
This is taking place over Animal Crossing, I think. Very tubular world we got.
Okay, so the weapons are back online. This is the first level where we're going to be actually collecting the 2x4 parts, because they're going to periodically appear from downed enemies, and they are going to basically be a direct DPS upgrade. Yeah, there's the plane, there's the nose plane, the snot bomber. We can't hurt him, we can't hurt it right yet, but basically it's just gonna fire off some projectiles at us. And we're gonna fire off a chicken soup to try and make it go early. I'm not sure if that actually works, but I feel like it does, so I do it every time. There's always room for superstition in speed games, you know?
That's right.
I really hate that plane, the snot bomber.
That's
I
right.
hate it.
It must be
Yeah.
destroyed.
Don't worry, we...
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say, don't worry, we do thankfully get to destroy it at the end of the level.
I especially hate the implication that it bombs snot out of that nose.
Oh,
I
it totally does. It absolutely, that is absolutely what it does. I'm sorry you had to find out this way.
I don't like it.
To all those in the chat, I am incredibly sorry about the delay. That's the nature of the beast, I'm afraid.
But we still get the basic idea, so it's still doing pretty good.
Yeah.
We can keep what's going on.
With any luck, do you have a... kojlax, how are you watching the stream, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm watching it through Zoom.
Okay, so with any luck, you should be seeing about what the stream is seeing. So
It's like 15-20 seconds behind.
yeah, it was a
Very
similar...
bad.
Don't worry, this was a similar situation to when I was commentating Ape Escape 3 earlier this week, and there was about a similar delay there. So so thankfully, as long as we have someone on the ground who's seeing things that the chat is seeing in real time, we should be able to more or less provide a somewhat decent experience. At least I hope so. Because otherwise, then this is just what life is for 2 hours.
I'm not sure I'm awake enough to be the person giving the chat their commentary.
It's 4 a.m., neither am I. Don't worry about it.
We're all tired and we're all watching snot planes. It's fine.
We're all tired and we're watching...
Don't remind me.
We're watching a flying school bus fighting a flying cold and flu dispensary.
That's right. Miss Frizzle's had it up to here. She's getting revenge.
By the way, yes, this is a flying school bus, and yes, it is called the cool bus.
I see. Because it's a school bus, but the temperature is lower than normal. I see what's going on here. I'm with it.
Positively sub-zero. We're not going to be using our chicken soup all that much. We're pretty much just holding it so that we can use it early on the final boss, because the final boss well, not the final boss of the stage, rather, I should say, not the final boss of the game. We are not going to be holding this for 2 hours.
It's a very long boss fight.
It's a very
like
long
the Colossus.
But yeah, no, don't worry. Basically, just the boss has a phase where they can only be damaged by the chicken soup, so we're basically saving it for that to skip a cycle. You might, by the way, notice all the flying purple monkeys that are coming towards us and that we're collecting. Those are rainbow monkeys, which are basically just the popular stuffed toy du jour in the Kids Next Door universe. They're basically Care Bears. And yeah, they're basically just this game's equivalent of coins. You pick them up, you get secrets. For the most part, we don't worry about them. But in this stage, I like picking them up just because it's something to do, because this is, at the end of the day, a very easy shmup level. This will be a decent time for donations, if you have any.
We got a few. Let's see. We have a $10 donation from Passir. Says this is gonna be fun. Come on, everyone. We have a $25 donation from Kalazi. And we have an anonymous $25 donation as well. Neither left a comment, but thank you so much for your generosity.
Yeah, thank you all for contributing to this good cause. It's really nice to, at least, if I'm gonna be having to expose people to this train wreck, then at least it's for a good cause.
That's right. It's all in good fun. Raising money for charity and stuff.
By the way, to the person who asked in the chat, yes, this game sort of has a plot. Basically, what happens is, for the most part, the plot isn't there for most of the game. Basically, we just deal with a bunch of different villains doing dastardly actions. But as the villains are being defeated and we get them all together to be taken to like the Kids Next Door moon base. Bits of their like DNA are going to be collected by the delightful children from down the lane, who are going to use them to build one big like combination of all the villains to destroy the Kids Next Door forever.
Ah, so it's like Other M.
Hey, I know those characters. They were in the one episode of the show that I watched.
They're like hive mind children.
Yeah, they're hive mind children who, fun fact, according to the law, are a lost sector of the Kids Next Door who got permanently brainwashed by father.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, I think in that movie, don't they like they actually regain their old selves and then they go back to being brainwashed?
Yes, they do.
Weird.
The brainwashing was so powerful that the unbrainwashing can only be temporary. I've got something.
Yeah, that's terrible. Oh no.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the lore. It's one of those. I mentioned this like before we went live, but it is one of those like mid-2000s cartoons where like it started off as like a bunch of fun one-off episodes that weren't really connected, but then they decided they wanted to have continuity and themes.
This show ran for quite a few seasons. I don't remember how many seasons, but it felt like 1,000. So I'm gonna go with 1,000. It's a cartoon show that ran for 1,000.
It ran for 6 seasons.
Yeah, they're close.
As the old saying goes, 6 seasons in a movie. Anyway, here's the boss fight.
This shmup level is still going, isn't it?
Oh yeah, don't worry, we're at the boss fight, so it'll hopefully be done in a little bit. If I'm really lucky, then I'm going to be able to do enough DPS so that to these engines to destroy them before the game gives me the tutorial to shoot down the engines. I don't think we're going to get it. It's you have to get like really good DPS for it. You can see one of them's already smoking. That means it's about to come off like pretty soon. There we go.
You know a game is good when you have to give a tutorial on how to do the boss fight.
Okay, we didn't quite get tutorial-less, but we managed to get it like just after. So yeah, that was a decent first phase. Now you saw there we use the chicken soup to skip a little bit of cycle on this phase, and now we pretty much just have to avoid the snot projectiles. I can't believe these are sentences that I'm saying in front of like 5,000 people.
Again,
How many people have been watching this?
fan of sentences.
5,200.
Oh, good grief. Hi, y'all. Sorry that this is what you have to put up with. I wish I could be doing better.
They're here by choice. Everyone loves green Gradius.
Green Gradius.
Green Gradius.
My God, I hate this fight. I hate watching it.
Don't worry, only 2 more of these, and then we will be on to the next level, which thankfully is an actual platforming level.
Why did I agree to do this?
Because you're a good friend of mine.
That is true. You are a cool person.
Thank you. And at the end of the day, cool people being friends to each other, that's what it's all about.
That's right.
And apparently getting hit with snot rockets.
Yeah. I've done a decent job of dodging these big projectiles, because if one of them hits you, it drains all of your shield instantly, which is bad because you need your shield to be able to absorb projectiles to be able to do damage to the boss. So the fact that I haven't gotten hit by any, and in fact aren't going to get hit by any, that's pretty good. 10:22, that's not bad. These stages are more or less auto-scrollers, but that's like 6 seconds off my PB for that stage, I think. So anyway, now we're gonna jump ahead in time a little bit. It's now nighttime, and this is Operation Spank Happy. Yes, really.
That's right.
Basically, there is a villain in this show. I am not making any of this up. There is a villain named Count Spankulot, who is a vampire who spanks children and turns them into other spanking vampires.
Right. Of course. Why wouldn't there be?
Children's show.
Well,
All right, I get.
That's a good Mad Lib.
Okay.
I like that.
So basically, all of the kids next door, all of Sector V has been turned into vampires, except for number 4 because he was on the toilet when it happened. So now we have to unvampire everybody. Here they are. We have to watch a long cutscene of them getting introduced, then we immediately skip the dialogue, and then we have to watch them all going away again before we're allowed to play the game. But yeah, thankfully, the show seemed to recognize that, like, hitting children is bad, because Count Spankulot in multiple episodes went to, like, real, actual jail. Like, not like Kids Next Door, funny adult villain holding cell facility, whatever. Like, actual, real adult prison for criminals on multiple occasions.
Hard time for that.
Hang on. Can I get up here, please? Okay, never mind. I guess I'm not going to be able to do that skip either. Normally you can, because the top of this monitor has a hitbox, because you have to hit it to get this thing to come down, normally you can use that hitbox with a jumping attack to be able to just bounce straight up there and skip a bit of fighting. But instead, we're gonna just, ow. Those enemies have an attack when they spawn, which we got hit by twice in a row. Good grief. So yeah, we're just gonna come through here. As you can see, we're doing the same jumping attack principle with number 4, whose jumping attack is actually way better than number 5's. It is actually faster than doing the side flips, which is also because number 4's side flips have a little bit of end lag to them for some reason. I gotta stop getting hit by those. Just don't stand next to the enemies when they're spawning, or like make sure you're in the air or something.
I can't tell if this is a show that I really need to watch or need to avoid at all costs.
Look,
it is genuinely a really good show. And, like, this is, as far as, like, licensed game adaptations go, this is decently close to the source material. Like, I think they got the writers back, they got, like, all of the voice cast back, including they even managed to get Mark Hamill, who shows up as a villain later. That'll be fun when that happens. Yeah.
I was impressed that actual adult prison had the capacity to house a vampire. They ever go into the lore as to how that was possible? Because did they already have a vampire-proof cell ready, just in case? Or did they build one?
I don't know. I guess they built one. Remember, the kids next door have a moon base. These things just happen.
Oh, that's true.
Anyway, so now here we're supposed to, like, get a bunch of parts of a weapon that can fight the vampires and then fight, like, 3 mini-bosses, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to do Operation Vampire. Very aggravating mini-bosses past, implementing unreliable hole. That's a vampire spelt wrong, like a 10-year-old would spell it.
Yeah, vampire.
So yeah, and you'll see why I call it an unreliable hole once we get up to the top of this area. Basically, instead of, like, picking up the weapon parts, we're gonna just kinda just climb up this big giant tree, like the base of the tree house, I suppose. Oh boy, come on, get back up there, climb up the tree again. I tried to go for something fancy, and it did not pay off for me. So instead, okay, let's do that properly this time. Now we go over here and up. Use these bounce pads. Thankfully, this enemy is, like, right here. We have to take out this guy because he's gonna mess with our lock-ons otherwise. Get a little bit of health just to be safe. And if I couldn't get the last door skip, then I am, quite frankly, afraid of what my attempts at this are gonna look like.
You got this. You totally got
Basically, we because this door isn't like a solid wall, it's like 2 other walls, like, attached to each other. We're gonna hang on.
I believe.
Okay, I think this is the right angle. No. What? No. Get in the middle. Get in the middle. Oh my god. Hang on. Okay. Okay, I think we almost had it there. That was more or less what it's supposed to look like. We're gonna get ourselves trapped in that little, like, crevice. And then once we're in there, we move our stick down a little bit, and then we have to move it, like, 1 degree up once we see, like, the wall of blue, which means we're on the other side. If I can get this. No, come on. There we go. Okay. Woo! So that skips, like, 3 mini-bosses and having to traverse along a big thing to fight, to, like, get the weapon you need to fight them. And now we're going to just move over here and go to the boss of the level, which is Vampire number 1, who thankfully we can kill faster without the weapon than with the weapon. Because basically, super attacks with melee characters by holding R1 and the attack button are able to hit multiple times if you position yourself just right. Like I'm going to go here. And I did not get it. Okay, we hit him twice anyway, so that means we're not going to get the 2-cycle that I wanted. This is surprisingly inconsistent, actually. Okay, now, hang on, please. Okay, even if we didn't get any of the double hits, we at least managed to get a 3-cycle, which is pretty good, all things considered. It just didn't look nearly as flashy. 532, I'll take that. So yeah, that's that level done. But now, suddenly it's nighttime at the treehouse, the power's out. What are we gonna do? Well, of course, the treehouse is powered by millions upon millions of hamsters on tiny little hamster wheels, because why wouldn't it be? And nobody else can be bothered to pick them up except for number 3, because she likes cute, cuddly little animals. So this level is going to
cuddly animals.
So this level is going to involve a whole lot of chasing hamsters around and hoping their AI is cooperative. Except that's not what it would normally involve, but instead we're going to do Kids Next Door Operation Space, Scurrying Preventer, accessed commendably early. Basically, we're going to spawn at the top of this like treehouse section, and then we're going to jump, smack our face on this pipe. We want to take fall damage there because we're going to do a death abuse, but first of all, if we shove our heads under this pipe and then mash jump, we clip into the void.
Woo!
I am incredibly surprised that went as smooth as it did, considering that was like one of the tricks I didn't really practice. Why is that the one that goes well and the ones I practice don't?
That always
so yeah, here's space. We get to see like the nighttime star effect in these kind of, they're not really sky boxes as much as just sky domes. So yeah, we're gonna like do a slow glide over here towards the end of the level. Or like the halfway point of level, rather. The end of this loading zone, rather, I should say. And, we are not able to do anything here because the loading zone to go to the next area does not actually exist. Even if you clip behind the door where it is, it just doesn't exist. But what we can do is get the upgrade piece, the pieces for the gun. And the gun will allow us to freeze the hamsters in place so we don't have to worry about getting their AI to cooperate. So yeah, there's that. We're gonna get the gun just a little bit up here. It's a freeze gun by, oh, hang on. Get off the, stop grabbing onto the ledges. Here we go, the Frappe, which is a freeze gun. And of course, it's a weaponized ice coffee machine.
I want a weaponized
And now,
coffee machine.
and now because we can't do anything here, we are going to repeatedly throw ourselves off the lowest ledge that will allow us to take fall damage, and basically do that until we sprain our ankle and have to go back to the start of the level. So yeah, for the next like 5-10 seconds or so, we're just gonna throw ourselves off a ledge multiple times.
Crash. Well, we do have some helpful tip here in one of the donations here. We have an anonymous $50 donation that says, "Did you know that you can press square to shoot?"
It's true. You can.
It's true.
Why, I did not know that. Thank you very much, anonymous donator.
So helpful.
I think the delay is getting worse.
Oh no.
It's like 30 seconds now.
Oh gosh.
It looks pretty okay.
Oh, that was a branch I just clipped straight through. I didn't think that was a thing that could happen. Okay, so now we have to actually do the hamster collecting part of the hamster collecting level. And there is a fast way to do this specific segment, but I'm going to be real with you, I can never remember what it is. Even, like, when I was actively grinding this game out, like, every day, I could never remember the proper route through this downward falling segment. All I know is that, like, right before the ending of the door, there are, like, there's a spot with, like, 4 hamsters, so as long as you have 11 before you hit the very bottom of the level, you're gonna be fine. And we've got 9 right here. So if I just, hang on, go over here, pick up this. Number 3 is going to tell us that there's an elevator we can use if we fall to the bottom and don't have enough hamsters, but we don't need to use it. 12, 11, 13, 14, and now we pick this one up, and that is going to be 15. The game's going to click. Sorry, go on.
I just want to tell chat that no, this is not live.
This was pre-recorded.
This is pre-recorded. I did this run like 2 weeks ago. So anyway, we're going to do some... Sorry.
The game's live, the commentary is pre-recorded.
Oh, so we had to predict.
We had to predict everything. Don't worry, I'm clairvoyant. So hang on. Now instead of like having to chase hamsters around and hope that their AI cooperates, which is what I did for my first few runs of this game, and it was torture basically. Now instead we just mash square and freeze the hamsters in place with our iced coffee gun. So yeah, pretty much like the next part of this level, so is just going to be freezing hamsters in place and just picking them all up in like big blocks. As we get like more good sentences, just freezing hamsters and picking them up. You know, as you do, just another Tuesday, really. Thankfully, the level does get like a bit more interesting towards the end, because like the hamsters, in spite of being frozen, do put up a bit of a challenge. Mostly because they get a lot more spread out instead of all being in like one area. Up along here is a corridor that if I get the angle right, I can do a really impressive like continuous jump down if I predict the angle correctly, which I hope I do. I got stuck on the door a little bit. This is like one of the few bits of smooth movement in the game. The rest of the time you're having to like constantly readjust your angles to make sure you're going in the correct direction, or like something like that, like a hamster or an enemy will show up that you have to lock onto, and the game will just decide, no, you're going this way now. Oh, oops, daisy, you get back here. There's not much. I'm gonna be honest. Not much to say about this bit. Like I've said what there is to say. You grab hamsters, you freeze them, you grab them. Which sounds like I'm sorry, that sounds like the slogan to the worst, least ethical business known to man. Hamsters, you freeze them, we grab them. I would not want to see that on the side of a van.
Well, I guess since while we're doing that, then there are some upcoming incentives for Barbie. There's a dramatic cutscene reading incentive. So we want $300.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's the $300 is the goal for that. We're currently at $159. So if we can get the rest of that in, that would be superb. Because I'm sure I don't know who's doing the dramatic reading, but I'm sure it's going to be full of other extremely good sentences. So you sentence fans out there. You want more sentences, donate.
If you're a fan of sentences, I can't recommend that incentive highly enough. I mean, take it from me. I'm a noted liker of sentences.
You can put sentences in your donation comment too. We could read your sentences of your choosing.
I'm sorry, we need more donation incentives for people who hate sentences like myself. I just don't know what to give my money for.
So you just key smash all over this incentive is just random numbers.
Yes,
I would donate for that just to see what would happen.
Number 4 saying, I'm sure what we're all thinking there. Oh wait, I just realized with how behind you are, you probably don't even know what that dialogue was.
Oh, I'm anticipating it though.
I don't even have audio right now.
Okay. He basically said, can we hurry up and get this level over with so we can go back to some real video games? Saying what I'm sure a lot of us are probably thinking. Yeah. Okay, this is like the second to last segment of the level, thankfully. There's only going to be... Go past the pipe, please.
Good work, number 3. The power core is just down this hallway. Get there and you can power up the treehouse.
loving this bit of like stock music that the game uses whenever it needs something to be dramatic, because after all, what more is dramatic than marching down a hallway
and freezing hamsters? That's pretty dramatic.
Oh yeah.
See, you guys in the chat are actually getting double challenges here. All right, you're watching Steb try to beat the game as fast as she can, and you're watching me trying my absolute hardest to stay awake at 11 at night.
Do you have any duct tape? Pull your eyes open.
You're trying your hardest to stay awake and also having to do interpretive speedrun commentary.
I've long given up on saying anything meaningful about this game.
Commentating this is borderline experimental at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is reverse Maniac Mansion, what she's doing right now with these hamsters.
Okay. Oh, thankfully the game decided to drop like 5 hamsters on us. That's very convenient. Oh yeah, but the hamsters can use the bounce pads, by the way. You probably saw that in a previous segment. We caught that one in the air. And yeah, but in the previous segments where they could use the bounce pads, they were pretty much locked in a straight line, whereas in this segment, they actually have room to move around. So even with the freezing, there's going to be a lot of... come back here, you little... there's going to be a lot of that. Hang on.
Wow, now that's a lot of hamsters. I just want to hug them and squeeze them. Ooh, look at that one and that one. So many cute, cuddly little hamsters.
Thankfully, this is actually relatively clean compared to most runs I do of this level. We've got... Yeah, actually, wow. Good grief. Almost at the end. At least I am. Oh yeah, and a bunch of them are just stuck in here. Please say this is 3. Yes, it is. That's the end of that level. 10-14. Wow, that's actually really good, all things considered. Okay,
Gotta say, you're doing better than that one long play. The one long player I skimmed through.
And really, that's all I can ask for. At the end of the day, what is there than to be better than a long play? Frost Fatals. It's better than a long play.
Or at least as far as the speedrunning aspect is concerned.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, this is the second spanking vampire level, because we had to have more than one
Revenge.
of those.
Return of the Revenge of the Spanking Vampire.
Yeah, basically, this is number 1, taking the fight directly to Count Spankulot. This is the one of the 2 back garden levels in the run. We're going to be seeing another level with the number 3 later, which is going to be using basically these exact... They basically recycled this whole level, but just changed the rooms around ever so slightly. And annoyingly, those 2 levels are like the longest of the non-shmup levels. And both of them have annoying gimmicks. In this level, the gimmick is that none of these vampire enemies can be damaged while they're in the darkness. So we have to shoot some bug zappers to make light happen, which will allow the enemies to take damage.
They have hands.
Thankfully, we don't have to do that for most of the stage, because we can just use super attacks, which kill the enemies in like 1 shot, basically. Bring this guy over here, take him down.
Glover, no.
That's the glove dudes.
Yeah, hamburger spank helper.
Because when I think of spanking themed enemies, I just think dudes with hands.
Yeah, they're just like, well, what's something that would be spank vampire related?
I'm confused as to why there needed to be spank-themed enemies. In a children's video game?
There needed
Ask
to be.
Mr. Warburton. He's the one that wrote the show. Take it up with Warburton.
Yeah, Mr. Warburton, if you want to donate and explain yourself in the comment, that would be great.
Mr. Warburton, donate to charity and answer for your crimes.
Your cartoon crimes.
Oh god, at least we're having fun.
Yeah, we're having fun.
Anyway, so here we're going to see how the charge shots can damage the enemies. the ones from this gun, they don't kill the big enemies immediately, but they do rebound. So it's basically pure RNG on how many shots it's going to take to kill this guy. I really hope the child doesn't get in the way. You get back here. Dude's getting in the way. Okay, that dude's finally down, which allows us to save this child. This is like one of the only levels in which the kids next door actively help children instead of just fighting adults in costumes.
Let's see what you think of this.
Anyway, we're gonna be going into this section here and, oh, nope. Yeah, I didn't pick it up. Pick it up, come on. Gonna be going into this section and picking up the final 2 upgrade pieces, which is gonna allow us to make a soup can laser, because that's the technology we need.
Don't you just love it when you open up a can of soup and you just get, your face just gets obliterated by high-powered beams? That old gag.
You ever just open up a can of tomato soup and you get like Mega Man 2 Quickman
Yeah,
stage?
yeah, Quickman laser just explodes your face.
Like with the sound effect and everything.
Chat, you know what we're talking about, right?
I mean, this soup can laser is basically as powerful as that because it kills the big enemies in one shot. That's the voice of Count Spankula, by the way. You probably can't hear him right now, but yeah. He has the whole, like, Transylvania thing going on.
Wow.
Now this section right here, I'm going to take measures to prevent this from happening, but this section is where the entire run can go to hell in a handbasket really quickly.
Oh dear.
Because basically, unless I go out of my way to kill, like, a bunch of extra enemies in this room, then the next room, which has a bunch of, which spawns a bunch of enemies that you're required to kill, if there's too many enemies loaded in, then those enemies just won't spawn. And it will soft lock the level, and it loses like 5 minutes.
Oh,
This is a
no.
real thing that can happen in this video game. I'm gonna like kill most of all the enemies I can find to stop this from happening. But if it happens, really, it would happen tonight, wouldn't it? I don't see any other enemies around, so I'm gonna hope that we're fine, and I'm gonna just waltz along here. And if you hear me, sighing in abject despair, then you'll know what's
Then you'll know something bad's gone down.
It happened.
Oh no!
It's 5 minutes
5.
down the drain.
Yeah.
No.
No. Dun dun dun. It's one of those days. One of those speedrun days.
One of those days. Don't worry, it could be worse. In my first marathon that I ran this game at, I hit that soft lock 3 times in a row.
Oh dear. Let's go 3 for 3. Let's see how many we can.
I had to go onto a completed save file and just skip the level. I don't have a complete save file, so
We're living dangerously.
we're living dangerously.
I'm more amazed that this got accepted into than once.
You and me both. Why did we let this happen?
Maybe they're all big fans of the show.
Maybe. I mean, it's a good show. Why did I decide that this was going to be my speed game that I have run for like 2 years now?
Because of all the good sentences it makes people say.
Yeah, really, that's a compelling argument. That's really all you need.
And you get to make up all the names for the tricks.
Yeah,
that's
I've had
good
fun
incentive.
with it.
Yeah.
That's really half the fun of running a game that like nobody else runs or cares about, is you get to just make it up as you go along. It's a lot of fun.
This is my domain now. I rule the roost here.
I will say, I will say, to give credit where it's due, it isn't like just me that has been running this. I'm the only person who's really been doing full game runs like ever. But we did have like a glitch hunting Discord early on with like this dude. Will this dude aggro, please? There we go. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, we had a glitch hunting Discord early on. There were a couple of people there. My good buddy Silo Simon was there. He was the one who actually found Operation Space, the number 3 Void clip. He was the one who found that. We didn't know at the time like what it could be used for, but we knew it existed. We just had to apply it. Love that triumphant fanfare for opening like a backyard door.
Hey, that sound always plays whenever I open my backyard door. So.
Yeah, you know when you open a door and life just decides to go ba 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 ba. That's my favorite part of the day.
Yeah, today's gonna be great.
It's not a... I flipped in the wrong direction and jumped off the roof.
That kid is going to need a double cheek transplant if I don't stop that.
Trying to go for the flips is annoying sometimes because it's relative to the camera position. You have to like look to see what like running animation you're actually doing so that you will know what direction you're gonna do the flip in. Because you never know, you get a weird camera angle and then suddenly, whoops, what you think is a side flip is actually a back flip, and then you're not gonna have a pleasant time.
No.
All right, now back to
So anyway, second verse, same as the first. Hopefully we get better RNG this time. Don't you dare go over that fence. Okay, thank you. You cooperated for once. Oh gosh.
Step away from the bottom, you sprite-happy hooligans.
Can I ask, by the way, what time are we on for the run at the moment?
59:17.
Yep.
Oh no.
We're fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Thanks.
Uh,
Fine.
I've got a bad feeling.
I gotta tell my friends.
You got.
Oh well.
This. You got this.
Gotta just have fun with it at this point. I don't think anyone is tuning in to see what a speed run of Codename Kids Next Door looks like when performed at optimum capacity. Anyone who
If you make one mistake, then I'm leaving. No mistakes allowed.
if I make one mistake, then the like explosive bracelets go off and they destroy my hands.
Oh no. So now
I'm gonna-
the stakes are very high.
Yeah, it's like the movie Speed, but the speed run edition.
See, when's that movie coming out? I want to see that.
Yeah, when are we gonna see Keanu Reeves doing BLJs on the big screen?
Be so good though. I'm sure Keanu would be up for it.
Just.
Or perhaps
Okay, here we're back at the unfortunate room that controls whether or not we softlock. Gonna be extra careful here.
fingers crossed.
Gonna take extra care to kill any normal enemies that I can find.
I'm sorry, my pop filter just decided that it didn't want to be on my mic anymore.
Oh.
It's kind of fixed a little bit, I think. It's fine.
Sounds pretty fine.
If you really need like a quick solution, just like move the mic slightly to the side. It has kind of the same effect as using a pop filter.
Yeah, yeah, if the pop filter keeps having issues, then I'll do that.
Yeah,
That's up right now.
that's more or less what I do because I got sick and tired of having to reposition my pop filter consistently. Okay. If it happens again, then I really don't know what I'm going to tell you. Please. Please.
I'm cheering for you.
Okay, thank goodness. Thank goodness, I think we're good.
So basically, this game just has a chance to just like soft lock for virtually no reason without even doing any glitches or anything.
Oh no, there's a reason. I think it's something to do with there being too many enemies spawned into the level, which prevents those enemies which are tied to a progress trigger from spawning. I'm 90% sure that's what it is. There were just too many enemies. I didn't kill enough enemies. Anyway.
The bigger point is that it can happen for no reason on a casual playthrough without doing it.
Yeah, that can happen.
Wild.
Welcome to the license game block. This is the quality we deal with.
That is true. You seem to run into more of those kind of weird little issues on licensed games than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we're gonna come to the end of like the first half of this level at any rate. Once we kill this last enemy and rescue this last kid, then we go to like for some reason the game teleports you to a clock tower. I don't know what theming a clock tower has to do with like backyard suburbia. There was never a clock tower in the show, I don't think. But yeah, there's another loading screen. The clock tower is so important it deserves its own loading screen.
It's just like that one game, Mario 64.
Yeah. You know, every speed game is just Mario 64 when you think about it. I mean, this game has a clock tower. We were talking about BLJs earlier. It's all coming together.
Yeah, see? Let's see, we have a $25 donation from Clutch Road again. It says, just wanted to throw my money out there and say that it's good to see a friend of mine get to do a run on GDQ.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Clutch is another good friend of mine. I met them actually on the same JoJo voice acting project where I met my good friend Elliot.
Oh, see, there we go.
So it's one big Steel Ball Run fandub reunion here on twitch.tv/gamesdonequick.
It's that Venn diagram of speedruns, Codename, Kids Next Door, and JoJo's.
Yeah.
You know, all that overlap.
Well, yeah, that. I'm pretty sure the Venn diagram overlap there is just me, Elliot, and Clutch. Anyway, so basically this is like 3 areas of wave-based enemies. This first one is more or less on a regular timer. The spawns of the regular enemies are all on a set timer, so no matter how fast you kill them, you will still have to like wait for the other enemies to spawn. But then in the next 2 sections, hang on, pardon me. In the next 2 sections, the bigger enemies will start spawning, and their spawn timers are all relative to each other. So you have to, if one of them spawns, you have to kill it as quickly as possible to get the next ones started on their spawn timer.
This sure is a video game.
It is.
Yes, I've heard
Okay, that's the first one done with.
We're going fast. We doing speed gaming.
We're going fast. I actually managed to give a somewhat technical explanation of a thing that happens in this game.
Yeah, see?
Which to be honest, I don't think I even expected from myself at this point. So yeah, as I say, we're going to do 3 of these, and then there's going to be a boss fight with Count Spankulot. And thankfully, after that, that is going to be the end of the spanking vampire missions. We don't have to deal with any more of those.
Till 100 years from now, when he is inevitably resurrected. Spanky Belmont has to go stop him.
Oh my goodness. Just make a whole Kids Next Door Metroidvania about stopping Count Spankulot. Oh, incredible. I joke, but like I want to play that video game now. Okay, I think we're just waiting on the last enemy to spawn here. Yeah, there we go. The last enemy spawned. We got a bunch of subs being gifted in the chat.
That's a lot of subs.
That is a lot of anonymous subs, anonymous gifted subs.
By the way, we do have some bid wars coming up. If you want either the 8-bit or modern soundtrack for DuckTales Remastered, 8-bit is leading by everything, has $95. Modern has 0. If you want to try to throw some money in for modern, start trying to even it out. I mean, I personally think that the that Jake Kaufman's version of the soundtrack is pretty cool. I do appreciate both of them. So,
I have heard.
Yeah.
I'm not too experienced with DuckTales the game, but I've heard some of the DuckTales remastered, like the modern soundtrack, and it is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
From
I
what
like
I've heard of it. Yeah. I mean, it's a good game in general. I'm glad to see it run.
it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of DuckTales. Scrooge is very
Yeah.
cool.
A very good show.
Yeah,
With a great game made of it. A better game than this, at any rate.
Well, they do have some similarities in that they did get all the voice cast back for a DuckTales remastered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Alan Young was.
I am in a
100 years old.
situation right
Oh
here.
dear.
Oh no, not a situation.
It's a situation, I'm afraid. Gonna
Whatever
try
will you do?
and take out this enemy in the light just to save on a little bit of super energy because we are quite low and we need a lot of it for the fight against Count Spankulot. I think we're actually a little bit too low, but we should be fine. I hope.
It'll be fine.
Basically, you might have seen earlier in this segment, the spotlights that we're using turned off. That's to show that like the same thing will be happening in the Spankulot boss fight. We have to keep turning the lights on and off to damage him. Except we don't actually, because we are able to kind of stun lock him with the super attacks. He's gonna spawn, we hit him with one, and then he goes back down. We want to try and keep at specific ranges from him, ideally as far away as possible. But if we're very close to him, then that's also fine. It's if we're in like close to mid-range, that is a bit of a problem because that's when he does like a kind of jumping attack. And doing that means that he will be able to break out of our pattern. But for the most part, this is looking like a pretty clean Spankulot fight, and I'm pretty sure we are going to have enough super energy after all to be able to get a full spotlightless fight.
Nice.
In fact, looking at his health here, we've got more than enough energy, unless I mess up, which, knowing how this run is going, is all too likely.
Oh, you've got this. You've got this.
Okay, there we go. That's him down. And we're standing right next to him in the death cutscene, just because that's where we happen to be. 12-11, a slow run, plus a 5 minute of basically dead time. Because we soft-locked. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, here comes the second shmup level.
Woo!
That's right, they're back.
Oh no.
Shmup.
This level coming up, this is Operation Tarpoon. I don't know what a tarpoon is, but we have an operation of one, so that's pretty
Always
neat.
good.
Basically, the setup for this level and the next level is that we are locked in mortal combat against the candy-stealing pirate Sticky Beard, who is voiced by Mark Hamill. I told you he was in this game.
See, so
And
Mark Hamill can also donate to answer
Yeah.
for any crimes any cartoon crimes
also-
he wishes to.
Yeah, he can also donate to explain why he ran a giant pirate ship through the streets of suburbia.
Kids next.
And now basically I beg your pardon?
You go.
Sorry?
You go.
Oh, no.
You're-
Unlike the last shmup level, this isn't so much like an auto-scroller before a boss fight, but it does have an actual objective. Basically, there's going to be, amongst all these little flying pirate ship things, there's going to be a couple of big ones, and the big ones we need to take out because when we take them out, they're going to drop engine blocks. And once we collect 10 of those, the level is over and we win. So basically, whenever like one of those big pirate ships shows up, we're going to need to DPS it down as quick as possible. So we're going to be saving our chicken soups, which I don't think they're called chicken soup explosions at this point anymore because we're past dealing with cold-themed enemies, but it's more fun to say, so I'm going to keep calling them that.
I'd like to think that that's just the answer for everything. Oh,
Yeah,
we got the cold
chicken
enemy, chicken soup. Candy,
Going
chicken
against some
soup.
pirates, chicken soup.
Chicken soup.
It's like how, you know when you were a kid and you played rock, paper, scissors, and there was always that one kid who would play, like, gun or nuclear bomb,
Oh, yeah.
and it would beat everything? It's like that.
Like chicken
Except it's chicken soup.
You never ran
Rock,
into the kid
paper,
who's not
scissors.
chicken soup would beat it all.
I don't know what that kid who thought that is doing now, but I'd like to see their tax returns. Okay, so thankfully we've managed to get a chicken soup saved up. Annoyingly, these enemies are kind of squishy. Well, it's not so much that they're squishy, it's that they fire less frequently than the enemies in the previous shmup stage. So it's kind of hard to build up chicken soup meter quickly enough, like before they go down, because they usually only get like one bullet out. We're gonna hold off on the chicken soup here because this is the only part of the level where two ships spawn at the same time. So we're gonna need to hold off so we can get a bit of a double dip in there. See, we managed to hit two of them. Or at least you will see that we managed to hit two of them in about 17 seconds time.
On the edge of my seat.
Served cold like the Arctic prison cell that's waiting for you.
Gonna absorb some more bullets, pick up a little bit more energy. Hopefully pick up an upgrade block pretty soon. I really hope that I didn't miss the enemy that has it. I don't know if it just like spawns whenever off any enemy, or if specific enemies drop them. I really hope it's not the latter, because that would be incredibly... Okay, one of them just dropped, we're fine. But you never know with this game. Sometimes things just happen and they're obtuse for seemingly no reason. We're making decent progress at this stage. We have 6 out of 10 already. This of the engine blocks collected. This stage thankfully does go a fair bit faster than the first shmup stage. The first one lasted 10 minutes something. This one comes in at just a tiny bit, just a hair over 6 minutes, I believe. Generally speaking. I think next time there's a loading screen, I'm gonna have to turn some people up in Discord, just because this isn't happening like right now, but I've had some issues like hearing people over the game, and I don't want to turn the game down because that'll mess with everyone's audio levels on your end, and I'm pretty sure that just by this game existing, I have given you enough trouble.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be quiet as well, because I'm fighting very desperately to stay awake, and I think I'm losing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
If
I'll talk a lot.
If you need to...
I got this.
Honestly, if you need to drop because of, like, tiredness or anything, then by all means, don't let this game get in the way of, like, you feeling gross as hell because of how tired you are.
No, I think I've got this.
You think you got this? Heck yeah.
I have no promises, but you know what? If I fall asleep in front of 5,000 people, then so be it.
There are some things you only get to do once in your life. Falling asleep in front of 5,000 people is one of them. You can see here now we have the homing rockets, which the chicken soup plus some homing rockets means that we can destroy the big ships before they fully show up on the screen, which thankfully also means that the engine blocks have way less travel time before they get to us. So at least for the last two, we are able to speed up a fair bit. This last ship is gonna appear pretty soon, I believe. And then once we pick up the engine block from that, we will be done with this level. Any minute now. Okay, there we go. 605, not bad at all.
You know, the Earth really is just a really small cylinder, isn't it?
Yeah. When you
Learning
think
new
about
things
it.
every day.
One tiny Grand Canyon. Tiny canyon.
Turn some people up on my end. Just a bit. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to go into Operation Shipshape. Number 5 is going to be sent onto Sticky Beard's pirate ship. we're not on water, by the way. He is just driving a pirate ship through the streets, cleaving the earth in twain.
As you do.
As you do. And if you thought the shmup levels were a weird genre turn, I regret to inform you, this is a stealth level.
Ooh.
Hey, Ship Shape's the name of that, like, really awful Hat in Time level.
Oh gosh, I have not played a Hat in Time, so I would not know that. I really ought to play. I ought to play it. I think I own it.
You really should. There was only like 3 missions in the game that I would say were bad, and Ship Shape sure was one of them.
Mm-hmm. I'll take your word for it. Okay, so basically the gimmick of this level is the enemies are pretty difficult to fight head-on, and yeah, and they do a lot of damage to you, but also if you hit them before they notice you, then they die in one hit. We hit that guy, and then his mates got angry at us, and then I don't know what happened there. That one dude, like, he just immediately forgot that we exist. Okay, but I guess I managed to fight my way through. I really hope that I don't die here, because we don't get any health pickups for a while. Thankfully, there's a checkpoint here. Oh, and that guy saw us. Okay, this is a problem. Okay, actually, we might be fine. This guy hasn't noticed us. Yes, he has. Ugh. And I died. Okay.
Oh.
I had a bit of a feeling that was going to happen, but oh well. But now the annoying thing is when we respawn, we don't have our super energy. And yeah, the power-up that I picked up back there is now gone. So we are going to have to take this slow in order to, and actually, like, try and go for stealth kills. Because if these guys see us, then we are kinda toast.
Oh no.
I think we might be a little bit of toast.
Just somewhat toast-esque.
Oh god, they all see me. Oh, this is a big problem. Where did that guy come from? Okay. Oh boy. Oh, this is a actually considerable problem. Okay, hang on. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, there's a power-up over here, so we at least have some super energy to work with. Ow.
We have a $20 donation from Dream King. It says, y'all are doing great.
Thank you, Dream Team. I'm glad that you think we're doing great. We're gonna kind of just hide here so that these guys forget we exist. They're gonna see us again, but now we actually have super energy and iframes. We can afford to fight them by abusing the iframes of the supers. These guys did not hear any of that commotion, and finally we get through this section. That is like, straight up, there's no speedrun excuse for that. That bit's just really hard. Thankfully, the next time we meet some enemies, it will be right after a checkpoint. We just have to do a bit of platforming here.
Right.
Hope that some cycles are in our favor. They don't appear to be. Go over here. Do a little bit of wall jumping. Wait for these platforms to come back out. Thankfully, we don't have to wait too long. Just a case of doing a little bit more platforming. Accidentally got a ledge grab there. That's not exactly ideal. But it only wastes about 2 or 3 seconds. Which I think we can afford to take after the amount of 5-minute time losses we've taken so far. I don't know how they saw me. That normally doesn't happen. Okay, we somehow managed to hit that guy before he hit us. Now we move on down. There isn't a checkpoint here, annoyingly. We're just going to wait here for this little guy to do a little bit of a jig. Then we head out over here, smack his friend in the back, kick this guy through the railing.
Oh no!
Hey, this was the bit that this was one of the bits I watched in the long play.
Hey, heck
It's
yeah.
like a pirate ship.
Yeah. Okay, and now thankfully we are able to pick up some health. We have a good amount of super energy in tow, and there's health in this section. Basically, in this section, we have to fight a whole bunch of pirates. This is where the stealth section kind of goes out the window when we are expected to do head-on combat. Which, I mean, we've kind of been doing that for most of the stage. But basically, we just have to take out these guys on their cannons. But thankfully, they are way too focused on their job, so they never actually notice me. So any hit on them will be a stealth kill. Just gonna take them out, take out these other guys who are giving us a bit of grief. Here, head around here. There's a health bar at the bottom of the screen. That doesn't mean anything to do with the enemies. That's the health of the cool bus, which is flying around the ship, and it takes damage from the cannons, and it's more or less a time limit instead of a health bar for anything. So yeah, we do that. And now, for basically no reason at all, we have to go up and down a bunch of pulleys and lifts and stuff before we're allowed to go in and fight the boss. I don't know why, that's just the way the game is.
It's a bonus for people that are fans of Simple Machines.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Simple Machines.
Shoutouts to Simple Pulleys, Levers, and Machinery. Y'all do a great... You all do a valuable service for the community.
Heroes.
The true heroes of our society. Really. Eh. Now you can also get a great chance at seeing the suburbia texture down at the bottom there, which looks like the map that everyone had. I'm sure whenever the stream finally catches up and you see how much that texture looks like the map that everyone had,
yeah.
you'll all appreciate it. You'll appreciate my humorous observations. At least I hope you do, because Lord knows I don't have my speedrunning skills going for me at this point in time.
It's fine. Everything's fine. The town does look very flat, though.
Okay, we get that health, and now we're getting ready for the boss fight. And the boss fight is fun, because it's one of the major instances of RNG in the run. There's an RNG pattern you can get that will end the fight basically instantly. I'm probably not going to get it. I got it in my world record, which annoyingly makes that run kind of unbeatable. It's something like a 1 in 20 chance that you have one shot at getting. Basically, we have to smash open these chests, and one of them has like a super, super duper rare candy in it. And when Sticky Beard sees it, he's going to jump straight for it, which is going to let us attack him. And we're going to attack him a lot using Operation 4 Cycle. Foot ouching undoes reset, conferring you crazy fast level ending. Basically, we're using the attack on triangle, which is a kick for some reason. I messed it up. I didn't get it.
Oh, no.
Basically, for some reason, on the second cycle, if you use super attacks with triangle, then he forgets to reset immediately, so you can do the fight in 4 cycles instead of 5. But annoyingly, we're gonna have to do 5 cycles here, because I messed it up. Because sometimes the game just kind of forgets that you're holding R1 if you mash the attack button too quickly.
Oh,
Thankfully, though, we have been getting decent RNG in terms of the candy placement, in terms of actually getting him to become vulnerable. We're running a little bit low on super energy, but okay, thankfully we got a little bit more, and we're also... Oh, you would do that, wouldn't you? Sticky Beard basically has an attack where sometimes he can just decide he's going to reset, which makes the fight last another cycle. And sometimes, even if you've exposed the Jolly Roger, which is the thing that makes him vulnerable, he can just decide, you know what, no, I'm gonna do another cycle, because I feel like it.
see, that's Mark Hamill's cartoon crimes. He needs to answer for it.
Yeah. Mark Hamill, why did you make me go slow in a speed run?
Mark,
Your conduct today is unforgivable.
I thought we were friends, Mark Hamill. We've never met. You don't know who I am, but I thought we were friends.
How could you do this to me, Mark? We go way back. Okay, thankfully that's Sticky Beard done with. We got pretty decent RNG in spite of messing up one of the cycles. 929 with the deaths, that's basically expected. I don't know why the dialogue persists into the save screen there. That's a weird thing that happens.
We'll have to say.
Okay, and now with that, we're more or less, we're in like the last third of the game. Although, don't take that to mean we're near the end of the game. The way this run is paced, I'm pretty sure we're going overestimate. I'm really sorry, but that's how it's gonna be. We've got another long level coming up here, another long backyard level. This is, Operation Brush Off, where we get introduced to another new villain, Night Brace, who is a dentist villain. And his big evil plan is that he wants to make toothpaste out of mashed up fireflies, so that when kids brush with it, they'll have shiny bioluminescent teeth, and they won't be able to trick their parents into thinking that they brushed their teeth when they haven't.
Right. That's a normal plan that regular people have.
Yes, that's how normal people operate. So yeah, basically, we're playing as number 3, and we have to go around and rescue all the fireflies. I'm gonna go for a pretty difficult jump coming up here. We have to pick up a 2x4 upgrade piece that is like hovering above the level, and there's basically no way. Yep, I missed it, because like the angle that you get means you approach it from above, which means you have no way of knowing where you are in relation to it. Or maybe you would, except I'm blind in one eye, so I don't really have. I missed it again. I don't really have any depth perception. Come on, please, let me have this. I've had a really rough day today. Let me have this, please. Thank you. Good grief. Oh boy.
Awake.
Somehow, in spite of everything, we're still awake. We're still here. I've got another run after this. We've got Barbie, and then it's me again.
I'm so sorry.
Thankfully, it's on like a game that I know like way better, and am better at.
That's the Buzz Lightyear game?
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear. It's a way shorter game, and it's an actual like decent speed game that doesn't do like the things that this game has done to me.
Well, the thing I've always wondered about Buzz Lightyear is, do I or do I not want to be in the way when his laser goes off? Jack, can you help me with that?
That's a question for our times, truly. The top minds of our generation
Have long ass.
are still pondering, do we or do we not want to be in the way when his laser goes off?
Do we? We're not sure. The top scientists still haven't figured it out.
The jury is out.
Hey, it'd probably help me stay up, stay awake. So, I mean, what do I have to lose, honestly?
Yeah. I know that's kept me up many nights. The ramifications of Buzz Lightyear's laser, and the moral ethics of Firefly toothpaste.
More good senses.
It is 20 to 6 in the morning.
Ooh.
I feel like I need people to understand this. That is the situation that I am in right now. I didn't even point out that we got a gun. We have the Thumper, which shoots teddy bears.
That's not very nice. But I don't have any
That's
weapons,
adorable.
So I guess
Yeah.
we'll just have to stay away from
It's
those
good because we
zombies.
need to have a weapon, because the enemies in this stage can be incredibly annoying, especially those two enemies that I just took out. They are what's called Night Brace's army of Dentadrones, and basically the girl ones just fire projectiles, which is annoying but manageable, while the boy ones, they have such shiny teeth that they can zap your fireflies and like make you have to go collect them again. So basically, if you see one of them, you take them out as soon as you can. Oh yeah, and I should explain the bug zappers in this level as well. The bug zappers, which were our friends in the previous back garden level, here they are your worst nightmare.
Oh, because they hurt your bug friends.
Yes, of course. Bug zappers in a level where you have to collect a bunch of bugs. What could go wrong? Yeah, basically they have like
Hello, pretty
conical they have like circles of light that grow and contract. And if you go inside them with the fireflies, then the fireflies are like, "Ooh, what's this? I wonder what's going on here."
Splorge.
And you have to collect them again because when an insect gets zapped by a bug zapper, they just come back.
They just get
fine.
teleported to another location. Very few people know that about bug zappers. It's actually
Yeah.
advanced teleportation technology.
Do I have? I only have 4. I only have 3 rather. Okay. Gotta take a bit of damage there. You see these projectiles getting fired at us? These enemies have such shiny teeth that they are able to conduct it into an energy attack. Don't you wish that you could say the same about yourself?
Bioluminescence can do way more than I previously thought it actually could.
We have horribly underestimated the firefly toothpaste. Okay, so now we go up here, we find a few more fireflies. Thankfully, we don't have to, as with the hamster level, we don't have to worry about picking up super energy, because number 3 super attacks don't really do a whole lot of anything. In the hamster level, it's way better to just have the spam ability of regular shots, and in this level, you'd never really have to shoot anything that requires a powerful shot. So yeah, basically there's this section, then there's another section of just picking up fireflies, and then we have to go to the clock tower again. Except this time it's a clock tower with fireflies. Because why wouldn't it be? Why make it? Why? Actually, no. I'm not gonna go down that route. I'm not gonna go down that route of like slagging off the game developers. That's if I can like have a hot take for a second. I don't like that kind of like line that some speedrunners take of like, wow, this game was like made really well, like whenever they clip out of bounds or something.
Whenever they break the game.
Because like, yeah, because like, the amount of stuff that like doesn't get caught in QA just because you can't predict the amount of time, you can't remotely replicate the amount of time that that even casual players are going to be able to put in to a game, let alone speedrunners. You can't catch. There are some things that you just can't catch in QA. You don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, some of those tricks for a lot of those ones, yeah, really are just like so obscure that it took years to find in the first place. So.
Yeah, exactly. Gonna do some more side flips. Get over to this door. Deposit the fireflies. We get a bit of dialogue there from Nightbrace that we're immediately going to skip. Nightbrace, by the way, being the second villain in this game who's voiced by Tom Kenny. The first one being the Common Cold, most of whose dialogue we skipped. Basically, like... Yep. Basically, like, there are a bunch of, like, really talented and voice actors in this game that they managed to get back from the show, but we're not really going to hear them because, we skip all of their dialogue.
Oh.
Like, Maurice LaMarche is in this game, one of my favorite voice actors. He voices the main antagonist of the game, Father. I say main antagonist, but he only shows up in 2 cutscenes that we skipped both of them. So basically, we never hear him unless I decide to let the final cutscene play out, in which he has one line.
Maurice LaMarche is the man.
Yeah. Basically, if you've ever heard any Orson Welles impression in anything...
He is the Orson Welles.
Probably here, yeah. The most famous of which is probably the Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah, and the few times he showed up as Orson Welles on The Critic.
Oh, yes, of course.
I heard that him and Rob Paulson actually said that sometimes when they go out to lunch together, when the server shows up and asks, like, oh, what do you want? Then they'll order in Pinky and the Brain's voices just to watch the servers like freak out and be like, oh my god, it's here.
That's incredible. I mean, as a voice actor, you're not really going to get recognized on the street all that much, so I guess you got to flex where you can.
Yeah. Maurice LaMarche also does, during pretty much any cartoon, but probably most famously Animaniacs, that giant belch sound effect. that Wacko does.
really?
He did
Oh,
that
gosh.
because they had a Q&A, and they were just like, yeah, so the voice actor can't actually belch on cue, and they're like, don't worry about it. Maurice has got it. Maurice has got it. And they're like, Maurice, do your thing. And like, I saw a video of it, and he actually did it into a microphone, and it was just, it sounds exactly like it does the card. That's not like amplified in post or anything.
Oh my goodness.
That is just a superpower that man has.
That's incredible. That reminds me of, I read a story once about on the Disney Tarzan movie. Apparently, when they were recording for it, because the Tarzan yell is done by Brian Blessed, who does the voice of Clayton in the movie, not the voice actor for Tarzan. Because apparently, like he said, the story he tells is that he was leaving one day, like all his recording was done, and then as he walked by the booth, he saw what's the dude from like Ghost or whatever that plays Tarzan. He was trying to record the yell and he couldn't quite do it. So he said, hey, like when I was a kid, we saw all the Johnny Weissmuller Tarzan films and we all could practice the yell and we all got really good at it. So just let me do it. And he was like, and the Disney people were like, no, Brian, don't worry about it. And then he said, no, watch. And then he just on command did the Tarzan yell. And they were like, oh, and they canceled his, they like right then and there canceled his car, brought a lawyer in and drew him up a contract for the Tarzan yell.
Yes. Good.
I should probably explain this clock tower segment. I should probably talk about the game I'm speedrunning. So yeah, this segment, basically, we need to bring back more fireflies. We can carry 8 fireflies instead of the usual 4. So basically, if you go to put the fireflies back and your total isn't a multiple of 4, of 8 rather, then you've done something wrong. We've got 24, so we're fine. Now we jump over here. Basically, we have to keep going, like, base jumping to catch fireflies and then bring them back to the big clock tower gears in the middle. And then they will show us where Nightbrace's hideout is, because that's apparently how that works. If you ever want to find a supervillain, ask the Fireflies. They know.
They know what you did.
Oh no, they're on to me.
Speaking of which, we do have a $50 donation from Pauline, who says, lots of nostalgia watching this K&D speedrun. See if we get some.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that this is bringing out positive feelings in somebody. Okay, so that's this level done. We're going to get our in-game time coming up right here. 10:55, that is not bad considering I missed that starting jump like twice. Oops. Forgot to keep going after the save screen. And now we have Operation Cavity Cave, which is the final #1 level of the run, where basically we've been shown where Nightbrace's hideout is, and now we have to go and infiltrate it. Just gonna kind of wait and let this loading screen go by. I've exhausted all of my fun video game related, well, like related to this video game anecdotes.
Oh, we can keep
so
talking
whenever
about
there's a
cartoons.
loading screen now, I kind of just have to wait in silence.
We can keep talking
It wouldn't
about
be a
cartoons.
train wreck. It wouldn't be a train wreck GDQ run or a train wreck marathon run, I suppose I should say, without going off on tangents about like movies and TV shows.
Heck yeah, that's anytime I'm playing a game, there's always the inevitable part where I talk about like the worst movie I'd seen that week or whatever.
Oh, don't get me started talking about bad movies. I'm gonna make you all know about Cats.
Oh boy, I still need to see it. I have to.
Yeah, I follow Steb's Twitter, and oh boy,
I saw it in the cinema 3 times.
Nice. That's some good garbage.
You might be the most enthusiastic Cats fan out there.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Cats cosplayer yet.
Working on it.
I have seen people who are. If you ever go to London Comic Con, there is like a group of Cats cosplayers in the same place every year. They never move. We just shot down a bunch of the Dentadrones, and now basically just gunned them down in cold blood. And now the game wants us to go through all of these platforming sections to get passwords for the computer, but instead we are going to do the final acronym of the run, which is Kids Next Door Operation Computer. Cave obstruction mandating passwords utterly tarnished, enabling rapidness.
Yes.
And sadly, like the skips that gave us trouble before, we are going to have to do another slidey wall clip. Basically, we have to find the computer passwords to open up this big door, but if I get the angle just right, which is kind of a big if at this point... Wait a minute. Please... Yes!
Yes.
I got something first try for once this run.
Woo!
So that's half...
Yay!
That literally just...
And the crowd goes mild.
Oh my gosh. What? Okay, kojlax, either you or me needs to set that like yawn yay as like a sub sound or something. That needs to
Ringtone?
happen. A ringtone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was half the level that we just skipped basically.
Nice.
And now we have to do a bunch of platforming around. There's like an insta-death river here. It's a river of, quote, pure fluoride. One wrong move and my cavity collection is history, says number one. So yeah, basically, don't fall into the green business. It's a bad time. We're basically just gonna hope that we don't get sniped by any of the enemies. There's kind of a risky jump I can go for here, but I'm not going to take any risks after how the rest of this run has gone. We hit another checkpoint. Ow. Ooh.
Oh, no.
I am very surprised that I did not, like, fall into the fluoride there. Okay. Jump across here. We keep having to, like, break these pillars so we have something to jump across. Which means we have to slow down just a little bit. We're going to keep getting some weapon parts. By the way, if you haven't noticed, the Dentadrones, you have to kill them twice. You kill them the first time, and then they just kind of lie there, and then they come back.
Just like, no, I'm not beating.
Weirdly yeah, it's weirdly creepy if you actually focus on the animation. So we're just going to go over here, lock onto this other pillar, shoot it down so we have a platform to go off. And then, okay. If I sound really nervous for no reason, it's because I am.
Oh no! You got this.
There's one of the only bits of Tom Kenny dialogue that you're going to hear unskipped. We get the final upgrade piece, and now we have the bazooka, which shoots juice, fires whole cartons of orange juice at things.
Pulp or no pulp?
The game does not specify. But considering it's 10-year-olds, I imagine it'll be no pulp.
Again, Mr. Warburton, there's still time for you to donate. You need to specify, was there or was there not pulp?
Was there or was there not pulp in the juice cannon?
I'm gonna go to an animation convention, get first in line for questions during a panel, and I will demand answers.
By the way, in this part of the game, we play Pac-Man.
Ooh, that's always good.
Like just for a mini game here, we have to play like tiny little bit of Pac-Man like 5 times in a row because basically we there's this big tooth door that we have to overload the force field of by basically jamming 5 Dentadrones into the braces.
Oh, my teeth force field. I need it, I think.
So we're just gonna... The patterns that the enemies can take during these are fixed. You'll get the same ones every time in the same order. So if we just know which drone we're on, then we can predict where the enemies are going to go. But thankfully, there's not much difference between the two patterns that exist.
Oh, so we're sending the drones into the electrical field to zap them into it, like...
Yep, I feel like I may have done something wrong. Okay, time to improvise. I don't think... Okay, we're going to lose that, but then let's just have another go at it. Okay, go this way. Then this way. And I don't know what I did the first time that made me get it wrong, but like, okay, we got it right that time.
These kids just slamming into each other.
Yep. Number one, taking a surprising amount of joy out of jamming these kids into like an electrical force field where they are clearly writhing in agony. Look at the animations. They're like,
Yeah, who's the true criminal here?
I mean, going by the lore and the like Galactic Kids Next Door pilot that like was gonna be a show but never got picked up, the Kids Next Door are kind of the bad guys. Like, it is basically canon that adulthood is a disease, and planets that are too infected have to be destroyed entirely.
Of course.
I mean, as of the exactly one episode of the show that I watched, yeah, they just broke into some kid's house and stole their birthday cake.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. There are like 5 different episodes of stealing the delightful children's birthday cake.
Yeah, it's not very nice. They didn't even eat it. They just ruined it and slammed it on the head of some girl who didn't.
Yeah, basically, because like I fell through the floor.
What? But why though?
Through the floor. But yeah, basically okay, that time was on me. I missed the jump.
Oh, by the way, we just passed $44,000 in donations.
Oh, that is actually incredible. I'm so glad that like that this nonsense has been able to go to a good cause. It is great that we've actually been able to raise this much money. I'm really proud to be taking part in something like this.
Yeah.
So okay, so we managed to not fall on the fluoride that time, so now we're gonna go in here, and after this loading screen, we're gonna have the fight with Nightbrace. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the delightful children's cake. Basically, because their evil plan every time is that they invite a bunch of kids over to their birthday party, and then they don't share their cake. They just make the kids watch them eat it.
Why the kids come over in the first place?
I mean, they can leave whenever they want.
Do you want to come over and watch me
really
eat cake?
evil.
Not really. In the first episode, they're kind of like they're like tied to their chairs, I think.
I don't think that they were. I think I would have noticed if everyone was tied to their chair.
I don't know. I think it was like I don't know. It's been ages
To the
since I
wiki.
watched the show in its entirety. To the wiki. Gotta go for a deep dive on the Kids Next Door lore.
Google. Okay, Google, were children tied to the chairs whenever the delightful children were eating birthday cake?
Okay. This is, okay, this boss fight coming out with Nightbrace, this is one of the more precise ones. Basically, there's a cycle I'm gonna try and go for that involves hitting Nightbrace during an attack where he's moving, because you can only hit him from behind. But during the attack where he's moving, sometimes his hitbox kinda just doesn't exist unless you're really precise with your attacks. So hopefully I can get it. It'll be the one thing in this run that has gone well. Okay, first he's going to do the regular attack that allows us to hit him. Where we're just going to kind of like lay into him with these shots. Now, he is hoping. I need to hit him 8 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't believe I got Fast Nightbrace. That is actually kind of a miracle considering everything else that has happened this run. Okay, so that basically skips a cycle by making him hit a damage threshold early, and that was a really, really good Nightbrace. Oh my goodness.
Oh, by the way, I've been informed that since we hit 44K and since Super Metroid is open now, so now we have opened up the bids for Save or Kill the Animals. So I've heard that's kind of a popular little bid war, so if you wish to donate for the animals to explode into little bits, or to have them saved and then be canon, go for it.
We got
Kill them.
I say save them. We've saved the hamsters already. I say we save some more animals.
Didn't you freeze the hamsters?
They were running amok. Who knows what could have happened to them? I put them back where they were supposed to go.
In frozen blocks of ice.
Yes.
I'm just gonna be real.
Moving on.
hamster in a. I'm
That is where
moving
animals
on,
go.
but-
Learn that.
By the way, for in-game time purposes, that last level was a 9:39. Anyway, up next is Operation Overflow, the return of the Toilet Nader, the joke villain.
The joke villain.
Basically, he's turned up and he's clogged all the toilets in the treehouse with his weird toilet paper homunculi, which are apparently his henchmen of choice. And fun lore fact, the Toilet Nader is actually number 4's uncle. I don't think the show actually touches on that. I think it was in like a tie-in comic or something.
The extended
Oh,
universe.
like the extended Kids Next Door universe. Good grief.
Oh, I am sorry. That probably was not a pleasant noise.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad.
I mean, like it was a bit like I had like something fall. I think.
It was just me slamming my desk with my
fair.
chair.
Okay, so I looked
so
up where kids tied to chairs when the delightful children were eating cake. And it pulls up Operation
did you
Cake
get-
Spore.
Oh yeah, there were 4 different caked episodes. Actually, there might have been 5. I'm not sure.
Says it is the 4th episode. Yeah, it is the
Stop
4th episode of the
spawning
Caked
enemies.
Saga. Is what the wiki
Cake
refers to.
saga.
Calls it the Caked Saga.
Good grief.
Wait, they had 4 birthdays on the show?
Yeah, the
But
show
they were
went
10
for a
each
while.
time?
Time
Did they grow up?
shenanigans. Not really, no.
Wild.
I mean, remember, it's like in the Kids Next Door, you join when you're like 10 and you get decommissioned when you're 13. So there's a narrow age range. So if 4 years have happened, I don't know how that gets explained. Mr. Warburton, you still have time.
Mr. Warburton, if you're out there, and I know you are, explain
What
your.
else are you going to be doing at 1 a.m. Eastern?
So we got $50 from Gibbon, who says $50 for the fellow cats enthusiast.
Oh, heck yeah. Someone who understands.
We have a $50 donation from DG Riot, who says, speaking of cats, I heard the midnight showings could get real meowdy.
Oh my goodness. I haven't been to a midnight showing, but I have been to I went to the last showing I went to. Most people there were kind of tipsy / not really caring. So by the end of it, everyone was just kind of laughing and singing along. Even when the title card came up from the British Board of Film Classification with the age rating, we just saw cats and realized what we were watching, and we all had a laugh. By the way, the enemies in this section are poo enemies. They are walking poo.
Ah, of course.
Oh,
that makes
no.
So in this section, we have to destroy the toilets and also take out the poo homunculi. Thankfully, we can do more double hit glitches, so we can damage the toilets a little bit easier. Though also we need to focus on doing damage to the poo men. With any luck, they'll walk up behind us trying to get into melee range, and we'll be able to hit them with our supercharged melee attacks.
Let's see, we have $270 donation from
Ooh.
Wildcat, who says, this one's for all the incredible ladies keeping chat cozy. You all are rock stars. Donation goes to Mod Squad's choice. Blue heart.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna take out this last poo enemy, and that should let us move forward. There we go. Now the door opens. There is actually a way to get out of bounds in this area, but I have yet to find a way that it's actually useful. You can't clip past the door or anything. No fun shenanigans here. Sadly, you have to do that bit somewhat as intended. Can I get up here, please? Ooh. I've run out of noises of frustration, so now I don't know where I'm pulling these noises from.
Oh, well, looks like we met the dramatic cutscene reading for Barbie, so that's
Ooh,
good.
that sounds fun.
That's gonna be ultra dramatic.
Ultra dramatic. as dramatic as you can get with Barbie at any rate. Which, I mean, that's pretty dramatic
That
when
can
you
be
think
dramatic.
about it. Yeah.
She's had like every job ever, and sometimes she's like a mermaid and stuff. That's pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
Mermaid lawyers, super dramatic. I heard that somewhere.
Mermaid lawyers in space.
Mermaid lawyers in space. We're making.
Which I'm pretty sure was a movie from like the 50s. Probably.
Probably.
I don't know. They made a lot of movies in the 50s. Okay. We managed to get both the double hits on that toilets pretty consistently. So now that that door's open, we're going to move over to the last section of the level. We're going to ignore those enemies that spawn. And now we get to the boss of the section, which isn't really a boss because we've already fought the Toiletnator in the tutorial level, so making him a late game boss wouldn't really make any sense. So instead, he is going to race us to number 4's pristine bronze-plated toilet at the top of the level. And if he flushes it before us, then we're not gonna let that happen.
That was just the ultimate dishonor.
The ultimate dishonor is having another man flush your toilet.
Oh no.
Oh, I did not want a ledge grab there, but okay. We managed to go through the wrestling ropes there because for some reason number 4 has a giant wrestling ring in his room. I mean, when you're an angry, like, 10-year-old Australian boy, you gotta fight some things, I suppose.
Why not fight a toilet man?
Yeah. Fight your toilet uncle.
Fight your toilet uncle.
Okay, that's the end of that level. 626, not bad at all. And now, we come into the second to last stage of the game, Operation Moon Trip, where we're taking all the villains to the Kids Next Door moon base, but we're being intercepted by the delightful children. And I regret to inform you, this is the longest shmup stage in the run.
Ooh, yes.
What's the time? What's the time on the run at the moment?
It says 1:58 and 41 seconds. 42, 43. Okay, it keeps going.
Okay, 1:58, 42. Okay, then we're going to go over estimate, but hopefully only by a few minutes.
All right.
Because, like, we've got this, which this stage lasts about 15 minutes. I can't believe I'm saying that. And then after that, we have the final boss, which lasts for about 3 or 4 minutes. So hopefully, I mean, this run has objectively been a train wreck, but hopefully we won't be in, like, mercy kill levels.
I think it'll be fine.
When that's what we're having to aspire to, that's how you know that it's been a rough evening.
Doing great. We got lots of good donations and met some incentives and stuff, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, if nothing else, I'm glad that people seem to have enjoyed the run. I'm glad that it's been entertaining.
Yeah. That's fine.
And for those of you who hate my speedrunning skill, Buzz Lightyear will be better. I can promise you that.
So I was looking, the actual Buzz Lightyear Star Command cartoon had a Gary Owens narrate for it. Is he actually voicing the game too? Because that would be very good.
Gary Owens? Who did?
Yeah,
I recognize that name. I know he's in the show. Who does he voice? Is it
it says he narrates the show.
Narrates?
Yeah, as the
Oh,
narrator.
I guess there's like an opening narration to every episode.
Yeah.
It's like in every episode before the instrumental theme song, there's like a calling Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, which I think that might be it.
Yeah, it's got to be him. Space Ghost voice. Extremely good.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think you actually you probably do hear him in the game, but it's probably just like recycled audio. And even then, you only hear it in like the intro before the title screen, which sadly we're probably not going to see because the run starts like at the title screen. Thankfully, this shmup stage is at least interesting, even on a casual level. We don't have to kind of just turn our brain off like we did with the other ones. There is actual things going on here. Like, thankfully, the shield kind of mitigates a lot of it, but some of the bullet patterns here, it can get kind of bullet hell-ish at times, almost.
Well, hey, on the plus side, at the end, we'll get to Olympus Coliseum. Get that Keyblade. Keep going.
Oh my god, this does just look like the gummy ship segments.
It really does.
Like the Kingdom Hearts 1. Where's my, like, donut ship that all the bullets fly through?
Yeah.
We did a little bit of tech there. Like I don't know if the stream's seeing it now, but we like went through like a bit of like those asteroids that we had to dodge, and we damage boosted through the last one because that meant that when we did the screen transition, which is kind of like a jump to hyperspeed or whatever. Normally the game has to like slowly drag us over to the center for that, so we just damage boosted through the last meteor, which was in the center, so that we didn't have to waste any time getting slowly dragged over. These enemies that you're seeing, by the way, they look kind of weird. That's because they're all like made out of windows, because we're being pursued by the delightful children from down the lane who are in a flying Death Star mansion.
Oh, of course.
You'll see it at the end of the level, but I mean, of course, what precocious child growing up didn't have a flying Death Star mansion to call their own?
Those were the days. Flying around terrorizing people.
Oh yeah, you can't do that anymore, Lord knows. Oh goodness. I'm kind of glad that we're near the end of this run because I am very hungry.
It's true. I guess you can get a little food break before Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, I'll have to take like the 10 minutes that Barbie is gonna last to get like some breakfast or something. Because I should stress, it is currently 6:10 in the morning.
This is late shift.
Yeah, but I can at least like get a decent amount of sleep because I work evenings. I do have work today, sadly. But like even after Buzz Lightyear is done, I should be able to get a decent amount of sleep. I'll just have to wake up like right before I would normally leave for work.
You can always tell your boss, look, there was some problems with the hamsters that I had to freeze, and there was
I'm sorry, the spanking vampire level soft locked on me. I had to take matters into my own
You know
hands.
how it is, don't you?
You know how it is.
I mean, honestly, that's just such a relatable sentiment right there.
Yeah.
And the spanking vampire level soft locks, I mean.
Yeah. That hashtag Friday mood. We're gonna try and stay close to the center here as we take out this last enemy, because while some of the levels end with the meteor thing, the rest of them end with you like as soon as you take out an enemy, like it'll just instantly go to a transition. So you want to stay relatively near the center of the screen while also making sure to DPS those specific enemies down as quick as possible. So that's why we want to be saving the chicken soup for those kinds of enemies. Oh, these enemies that are coming up right here, and I guess will be coming up for you in about 17 seconds, are incredibly annoying just because they have like a laser attack that you can't block with the shield. But thankfully we should be able to get a chicken soup right now to take those out. There we go.
Take that non-chicken soup enjoying rich Death Star having hive mind children.
I think you might have just said the most specific insult ever conceived by humankind.
No one else will ever be bothered by that except for these particular cartoon characters.
That is an insult that applies to 5 specific people, all of whom are fictional. There are a lot of bullet sounds going on right now.
So we have an anonymous $10 donation. They don't leave a comment, but thank you. $5 Cheez-It gives $50. I guess that's multiple $5 Cheez-Its. Also does not leave a comment, but thank you so much to both of you.
Thank you, $5 Cheez-It, for depositing 10 of your name value.
It's an army of $5 Cheez-Its.
10 $5 Cheez-Its just appear at the door to the GDQ studio, just being like, I am ready.
Just like, you know what? I've seen enough for today. Just close the door and walk away.
I am ready I am ready for a better cause.
Fulfill my destiny.
I devote myself to something more noble. I don't know why $5 Cheese is apparently like a mythical warrior. My characterization.
Very noble, very proud, very tough.
I can't wait to fight $5 cheese in the Sekiro DLC.
Oh, that would be so good though.
Yeah, God, I really wish they were doing a DLC for Sekiro.
I still need to play it. I haven't even installed it
It's
yet.
really good. It's probably my my second favorite of the From Software games, just after Bloodborne.
Oh, nice.
Wow, this shoot 'em up is still going.
Yeah, this is like we're coming up to the end of the third section here, and there's 5 sections total, and then a boss.
Ah,
We're going to the moon. It's gotta take a while.
I see.
Yeah, we're going to the moon. In fact, like every time I do like a warp, like jump thing to transition between segments, you can see that the moon gets a teeny tiny little bit closer.
That's pretty far.
Yep. Gonna do another damage boost here through the meteor, and then you should be able to see the moon getting closer. Oh, look, see?
Have you tried like aiming at the moon? You're not really aiming at it.
Flying just
Off
past
the
the
side.
moon. I missed my turn and the moon.
Oh gosh. This level, they actually decided to try and like throw a bit of challenge at you. Like in the other shoot 'em up levels, we could kind of just stand in the sit in the center and hit square repeatedly. Oh, by the way, that's the other fun thing. You can't hold the button to fire. It's like stops if you hold down the button, then it stops firing after like 2 seconds.
Oh no.
So every now and so you have to like be continually repressing square. They did not want you to get complacent during these stages whatsoever. Gotta have an active trigger finger. Thankfully, we have like a 4-way spread shot along with homing rockets, so even these like annoying laser enemies, we're able to take them out pretty quick. So they aren't going to be much of an annoyance to us. Do we have any more donations? Because like pretty much whenever you feel like in this stage would be a good time for them.
Let's see, I do have some bid wars that we can talk about here. The Ocarina of Time file name choice. Current leader is Pork Chop at $90.01. The next one is Meow. It was just $90. So Meow and Pork
That
Chop.
1 cent is doing a lot of lifting.
Yeah, so if you're a big fan of Meow, or perhaps just a bigger fan of Pork Chop, you can get your money for that. In trailing behind both of them with $10 is Homie. Let's see. Homie. H-O-M-I-E. Let's see what else we got here. We got the Link to the Past file name choice. First place with $558 is Lonk. With $250 is Frog. And $58 is Honk. For Link to the Past, Link to the Past multi-world file name choice, we have Grandma Tires. I don't know what that means.
Grandma tires?
Seems like it would be a character in this show.
Yeah, that's like the biker villain, Grandma
yeah,
Tires.
Grandma Tires. Mr. Warburton, that's a freebie. Just saying.
There you go. If just saying, if Galactic K&D ever gets off the ground,
Just saying.
you know who to thank.
Yep. Get that in there.
I would just like to say, someone in the chat said, "Imagine doing this without the shield," and then someone else just said, "Imagine doing this." I'm right there with you, my friend. I don't know why I'm running this game. I'm gonna be brutally honest with you.
This feels like the type of game that I'd start running, and it seemed like a really good idea at the time. It did seem like just a really good idea at the time. I'd have a lot of fun, and then we get like 2 hours in.
Yeah, that's kind of the experience, to be honest.
So much debris on the way to the moon? I don't think this is accurate. Codename Kids Next Door is not as scientifically
I don't
accurate
think
as
10-year-olds going to the moon is pretty accurate.
No, that part
either,
happens
but-
all the time. That part is
Oh,
completely
yeah.
accurate.
Okay, we're coming to the end of this segment, which means the next segment if I've done my math right, and I really hope I have, the next segment will be the boss fight. And the boss fight, thankfully, is one of the only shmup sections that sort of has a skip, which feels like the cruelest irony in the world after a shmup stage this long. You can actually skip a cycle. That's why I've been holding the chicken soup for this long. We're going to be going up against the delightful children themselves. That's about all I have to say in the lead up to that. You'll see more when we get there, which should be more or less now. As we go into this section, there's going to be like a few more enemies to start with, and then the boss shows up. Some more of that good dialogue coming your way. Let's take out last few enemies. And then here we go. Here's the mansion Death Star. We use the chicken soup like immediately. And now, what was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. Okay, basically, so the way this boss works is that, normally they can't be damaged, but you have to take out these lasers that they're firing at you. The amount of lasers you have to destroy is equal to like 4 times the amount that there are. So if there's 2 lasers, you have to destroy 8 total before the boss will become vulnerable again. There's 4 at the moment, which means we have to do 16. And we're gonna need to like stagger our damage ever so slightly, because if we do too much damage too early on, then they hit a damage threshold too early, and they get 2 of the final phase, which has 5 and requires 5 times the usual. So I'm going to stop firing there for just a second to hopefully make sure that doesn't happen. There we go. We managed to get a second cycle of 4 in, which means we have to destroy like proportionally less lasers overall, so it saves just a little bit of time. That was probably the most technical and speedrunny I have sounded in the last half an hour.
You know, the children seem much bigger than the spaceship that you're flying in. They're quite tall.
I mean, when you're rich, you just get to be tall. That's how it is.
By the way, I've now noticed that one of the bid wars on here is for Pokemon Shield for StebMcDreb's nickname. The leader right now is Twitch Chat with $50.
Twitch Chat.
That is extremely good.
Oh, I feel so bad for that. I feel so bad for it. It doesn't deserve this. I'm just kidding. Y'all Twitch Chat,
Twitch Chat, y'all are doing something for a good cause here.
You got a nice.
The fact that you've put up with me for 2 hours and will have to put up with me for another like 40 minutes later on, you're doing a good job.
I apologize. Y'all don't deserve that.
Maybe everyone in Twitch Chat is an Excadrill. Maybe. I'm assuming there's some Pokemon on Twitch Chat right now.
This has actually been a pretty clean, delightful children. Normally we have to like play a bit more fast and loose with our health, trying to like damage boost to be able to get into position to shoot the lasers. Okay, that's that level done. 1610. That's actually... The fact that 16 minutes is a decent time for that stage should tell you everything about how much of a gauntlet that is.
Yeah, that's...
Thankfully now we're on Operation Lunar Rumble, which is the final boss. We fight the big giant amalgamation of all the villains as the Kids Next Door moon base, which has turned into a giant mecha.
Of course.
So thankfully, all of you who have put up with this onslaught, your suffering is almost at an end. Okay. First off, we gotta watch the two of them like kind of flex at each other here. I mean, obviously, the first thing that I think of when I think how to end a PS2 licensed game based on a Cartoon Network cartoon. I think mecha fighting on the moon. This is some kind of like platinum game or something.
Yeah, it's very much Beautiful Joe.
That's the final announcement of the Platinum 4 is going to be a remake of Kids Next Door Operation Video Game.
I would trust Kamiya with pretty much any property.
Same, honestly.
To be honest.
Oh, wait, okay. That's interesting. Okay, so here's the thing about this boss fight. There's a bunch of, like, the enemies from the previous stage are here, but they're, like, tiny, almost microscopic even. And sometimes the game just decides, no, you're locked onto them now.
That's...
Mostly when you take damage while locked onto the boss and they just happen to be nearby.
So, like, that's
what we're
the
doing
worst
here is
we do.
Okay, what we're doing here is we're trying to kind of, like, keep our distance from the boss to manipulate the attacks that they'll do, and also stay within this crater so that most of the attacks that the boss does fire off. Nope. Lock onto the boss, please. So that with any luck, most of the attacks that the boss does fire off will be, will either just hit the ridge of the crater, or they'll be easily dodgeable because they'll be coming from a long way away. The one we have to watch out for is the Night Brace attack, which is like a beam of fluoride or mouthwash or whatever it is. It's something like blue. And, yeah, so if that happens, we have to either do a really precise dodge or use our super attack to iframe through it. Like, lock on the boss, please. The boss can also decide to just meander around and jump around, which means we can't hit it for a little bit, so there's a little bit of RNG involved, but mostly we just kind of stand here and we lay into the boss. Or at least that's what we do for phase 1. We're gonna wait till the boss's health gets down to about half. Ow. Take a little bit of an excursion out to get some more health. And now, just DPS the boss down a little bit more, and there we go. We're going on to phase 2, the final phase of the fight, where basically we run out of bullets. I'm gonna skip through the dialogue where they explain that. And when I was a kid, this was the segment that I hated the most because it always felt like you couldn't trade hits with the boss without the boss doing way more damage to you. But it turns out we have jumping attacks and we can kind of stun lock the boss with them.
Oh.
So this is actually one of the easier and more consistent parts of the game, thankfully. I say right as I miss and manage to get hit.
Oops.
But yeah, basically, so we're just going to be using jump attacks on the boss and trying to get in our super attacks where available. Not much really to say. We're kind of able to, if my inputs will go in, good grief. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of health just to be safe. Get over. Okay, see, that's the boss just did that rolling attack, which as a kid, that was my bane. If you didn't catch up to the boss like immediately, it would do like a rolling attack straight to you that you couldn't really dodge. And it would just be like immediate damage that you couldn't do anything about. Pick up a little bit more health. Thankfully, there's a bunch of health lying around on the moon. Who knew that there was this much moon candy?
Delicious moon candy.
It's like Wallace and Gromit Grand Day Out, going to the moon to get its candy.
Well, that's a good cartoon to talk about, too.
Okay, apparently that's how you dodge the rolling move. That's a new discovery to me. Normally, it's not something I have to deal with, because normally you don't see it in this fight. That shows you how good of a job I'm doing.
Still getting new tech. The metagame developing right before our eyes.
Like I say, you learn something new every day. Like earlier, we learned you could press square to fire. Remember those days? What happened to those days, eh? Time is going to be coming up pretty soon. The boss is almost dead. Like, as soon as it goes to the cutscene of, like, the boss being defeated, that's when time is going to be. Should be coming up pretty soon. This nightmare will finally be at an end. Any second now. Time.
Yay!
Oh.
You did it!
Oh. Thank you all so much for suffering with me. What was the real time on that in the very end?
It says 2:20:56.
Okay, only like 6 minutes overestimate. All things considered. I'll take that.
Yeah, it did pretty good. It was just that 5 minutes from the soft lock. We'll blame it all on that.
That, and I spent like 5 minutes fannying around with the skips and buggification. That's one of the shorter levels of the run. I can't believe I messed that up so badly.
Yeah,
Oh well.
did great. Yeah, did great. Everyone had fun.
We all had a great time.
Great.
I am so glad all of you who've turned up here. You've made this a great experience. I never thought I would get like anywhere near this kind of stage with this kind of game. So thank you for like accepting the game. Thank you all for turning up to watch it, and thank you all for being so patient with how much of a train wreck this is.
It was great. I loved it. I loved watching this. I loved talking about going on silly tangents and saying weird sentences. I enjoyed it. Good stuff.
Thank you very much. I am gonna go and get some food maybe, and I'll be back whenever Barbie is done to play another licensed cartoon video game.
Woohoo! Yeah, stick around for that. We got Barbie, and then after that is Buzz Lightyear Star Command. So, yeah, you get yourself something to eat, and we'll stick around and watch more speedruns.
Again, thank you all very much, everyone. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much for that. I enjoyed.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you go get some sleep.
Yeah, you go get some sleep, Kojlax. It has been an endurance challenge for you, I'm sure.
All right, we have a $10 donation from Al Pal, who says, "Long live the Adventure Club." Well, thank you so much for your donation. And with that, we're going to play a brief ad, but we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere, or do go somewhere and get yourself something to eat too, but stick around with us.
So my friends and I sometimes play cricket, go out for dinner. We just sit in the garden doing nothing, which is a problem because sometimes you have to be doing your essay and you're doing nothing. I just go crazy for cricket. Like I literally scream when I see Pakistani player getting out or when they hit a six. Like I just go crazy. I would love to go to Hong Kong, Singapore, Indonesia, Argentina, maybe South Africa or Madagascar. My favorite Bollywood star is Shah Rukh Khan. He has always been my favorite Bollywood star. I think he is the king of Bollywood. But my favorite female actors have been Kajol, Deepika, but yeah, Shah Rukh Khan, all-time favorite. For me, just understanding technology, things like coding and app development and all these things is just so cool. One is Slack, which is really good for professional chit chat. There's also like a period app, which is so cool because it just tells you when your periods are gonna be, and sometimes you're completely not ready. I always carry a lip balm, my phone, a wallet. I also carry cards because I can do a few magic tricks, so I carry cards with me just in case anybody wants to see my talents. Now you have to hit the cards.
Hit the cards?
Yeah. So they fall on the floor. Yeah, you can hit them. You hit all of them. One card was supposed to be in my hand. It's okay, we can start again.
All right, and we are back. We have a $141 donation from Leggy Starscream. It says, "Let's read cutscenes, love." And puts a little heart. We also have a $10 donation from French Toast, who says, "I just wanted to thank the runner, StebMcDreb, and the host, Kojlax and LLK, for making this run endlessly entertaining and a blast to watch." Thank you, Toast. And with that, let's go to a brief Twitch ad, but we will be right back. All right, well, that is enough silly cartoon wackiness for me, so I'm going to head out. So I'm going to throw over to the new host, Marina, and we're going to kick it off with a Barbie Magic Genie adventure. So bye, everybody.
And hello, everybody. I am Marina Kazam, and I am back again for this very exciting start of a block of real good video games. I have had my coffee, my big cup of coffee, and I am ready to stay up all night with you guys. There are still some donations that we can read. So there are, let's see, we did just hit that Metroid incentive. There's $5 from Anonymous with the very threatening comment, kill the animals. They're very serious about it. And let's see, we also have $5 from Convex Ship. Thank you so much. And let's see, $20 from Sloppy Joe. Thank you very much. All right, there is another $50 donation. This one is from Reverend Gumby. Thank you very much for your for your generous donation. And just a reminder, this is all going to benefit Malala Fund. Malala Fund is working for a world where every girl can learn and lead. With more than 130 million girls out of school today, they're breaking down the barriers that hold girls back. They're investing in local education activists, advocating to hold leaders accountable, and amplifying girls' voices. So, a great cause, and we appreciate your generosity thus far so much. Thank you, everyone. Another important thing to remember, the Yeti is donating $5 per Frost Fatale shirt sold to Malala Fund. You can find the shirts at V.I.D.E.O.G.A.M.E. They look amazing, and I still need to grab one for myself. As for incentives coming up, I am very happy to say that we did meet the Barbie Magic Genie Adventure cutscene performance incentive. Thank you, everyone, so much for making this happen. After that, we are still looking to fill out the goal for Disney's 102 Dalmatians Puppies to the Rescue Glitch exhibition. We are sorry about that. We are $180 towards our $500 goal. That is again for Disney's 102 Dalmatians Puppies to the Rescue Glitch exhibition. There is a second incentive as well for that same game, missing birthday present. Priscilla the pig is missing her birthday present. Meet this incentive and we'll find it for her. We still got a long way to go on that one as well, so if you guys want to see this pig be happy, there's only one way to do it. All right, looks like we are ready for